All right. So as much as I hate long intros, I'm just gonna get into this. I also have about 30 minutes of sunlight left outside, so I'm gonna try to finish this as fast as I can. So along with that being said, I had wrote down some bullet points and some questions regarding this topic that were frequently asked to me. Before I start into this whole entire story, I'm gonna say that first of all, I was furloughed from my job in March 27th to be exact. Basically, like, I was laid off because of the pandemic. I wasn't mad about it, it's whatever. You got to do what you got to do. So I was very neutral about the situation. And then around the end of May, I had a couple of old bosses and people from work who were asking me like, yeah, like, are you gonna come back? Like, when are you gonna come back? So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, if people are getting rehired back on, like, let me make some phone calls. So I made some phone calls and talked to some people. I ended up getting rehired back on right at the beginning of June, and then my first day back was June 8th. And then my third day back or so, I was exposed to COVID on June 10th. I was working with somebody who had another family member on the same job site who tested positive for the virus. I didn't know much about the situation, but then June 11th, the person who I was working with prior this day didn't show up. So I kind of was a little weird, I wasn't thinking of the worst, but I thought like, like, he's always here. Like, why isn't he here today if a family member of his who works on the same job site tested positive for the virus? But I kept moving on with my day and didn't think anything about it. Tried to not overthink, I guess, because the thought was still in the back of my head. And that same day of June 11th, that Thursday, I had started to experience symptoms. Just one symptom, really. I had started to cough a lot. I don't really cough that often. And, I was starting to worry. This is when the worry and not the panic, but this is when I was getting really concerned. And so I went on with my day. Obviously, I kept my mask on. I was being careful and stuff like that. And then Friday morning is when the truth came out. This is when, like, the roller coaster started to derail. This is when everything started going downhill. I woke up an hour before my alarm and my body was hurting very, very badly. I had a fever of 104.7 and I was coughing extremely bad, basically coughing my lungs out at that point. The reason why I woke up an hour before my alarm went off is because the symptoms were that bad. I was really experiencing it and I was not in pain, I just felt like crap. Another thing too is that my body was burning up, like my chest, my arms, my legs, like just my forehead, everything was on fire. Even though my AC was on and my room wasn't that hot, my room was pretty chilly, but I was still burning up very badly, and it was just honestly not a good experience that day. I then proceeded to call my boss, and I called the safety lady on the job site, and I had told them, hey, I woke up feeling this way, and they were just basically saying, you need to go get tested. You can't come back to work unless those test results come back negative. Then I proceeded to find a testing location nearby, drove there, got tested. They had told me that if they were quick enough that they could tell me my test results that same day, but they ended up calling me the next morning. Saturday morning, June 13th, is when I found out that my test results came back positive. It was very awful. I wouldn't really wish that upon anybody because that virus really, I went through it very badly and it had hit me pretty hard, which is very strange to me because I am somebody who doesn't get sick. And whenever I do get sick, I'm only sick for a few days and then I'm back on my feet. I was sick for about 19 days total until the 29th of June. And it was an experience, it was something that I didn't think that I was ever going to go through. And in the back of my head, before all of this happened and before I had tested positive and before I even got coronavirus, I had always thought to myself that if I were to ever get it, I don't think it would be that bad, considering that I don't even remember the last time I had ever been that sick. I would say probably like maybe 2 years, 3 years. The closest to being that sick, I think, was when I had maybe food poisoning or something like 4 years ago. I was sick for about a week. I was throwing up, I was fevering and stuff like that, but it was not anything compared to what I had experienced earlier this summer. So, a lot of questions that I had been asked after and during this whole experience, I wrote those down. There are other questions, but I just wrote down the commonly asked ones that everyone wants to know. So the first question is it as bad as they say it is? Yes, it is. Like I said, I didn't think that I was gonna experience it that bad. I didn't think I was gonna really go through it the way that I did. I had really underestimated it because every time that I thought that I would get better, it seemed that it would just get worse again. If I would have been better for a day or so, and then it would just hit me really hard again after that. What are all the symptoms you have experienced? So my first symptom, like I said, was coughing. That was a very big one in the beginning, and then the second day, like I said, the morning I woke up, that morning I woke up to get tested. Body aches, headaches, fevers, burning up. What else? Honestly, I don't ever get migraines, but I had a very, very bad migraine for almost the majority of the time because I know what a migraine feels like compared to a headache. And it was so bad to where my eyes were so sensitive to light, and I just really had to just close my curtains and close my blinds and just kind of sit in a dark room. I even had to like turn the brightness down on my TV and my phones because it was that bad. Another symptom that I experienced for most of the time during this 19-day period of being sick was cold sweats. I really hate cold sweats. It's so annoying because you're not hot, you're not physically hot, but your body just decides to start sweating up. I could never get comfortable in bed. There was a couple times when I would just basically sit up in my bed and cry because I was so tired and I wanted to go to sleep so badly, but I couldn't because my body was hurting too bad. Or I was cold sweating, so I was uncomfortable and couldn't fall asleep. As far as breathing problems go, I didn't experience that until the last 3 or 4 days of my sickness. I remember the first time that I had really had a bad breathing problem, I went to the bathroom and then I came back to my room and I had laid down on my bed and it felt like I had ran a mile or something. I was so out of breath and I was so exhausted just from using the bathroom. Another symptom that was pretty bad was losing my taste and my smell. I really hated that symptom because, I would either DoorDash food or my dad would cook me a really good dinner and I couldn't taste any of it. I ended up just leaning towards chicken soup and crackers and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think that was a really bad symptom, but I did end up getting my taste and smell back a few days after I got better though, so that is really good. I remember one morning I woke up on the 20th day and I seriously felt like there was a miracle because I got out of bed and my entire body felt fine. I felt like there were no symptoms. I woke up with no symptoms at all. I checked my temperature. I was at a normal temperature and it was seriously like, I was so thankful that I woke up feeling better and healthy again. And I got my taste back, I think 2 days after that morning I woke up feeling better, which was very good because I remember I had to move rooms because of all of this. So when I had moved into this room that I'm in right now, my parents had ordered me Olive Garden and went and picked it up. And oh my God, tasting all of that food after not tasting for so long was just like heaven, really. So as you can tell, the sun is starting to set. It is getting very cloudy outside. I'm gonna wrap this video up with the last question. And that question is, did my job pay me? No, they didn't. I don't know why. Maybe there's a reason that I don't know why. Who knows? It's way beyond what I know. But I also do know that there are people who work for companies that are way smaller than the one that I was working for, and they were getting paid, minimum 40-hour checks while they had coronavirus. But who knows? Maybe it's the company. Maybe there's another reason to why I didn't get paid. But you know what? I'm okay now. Everything turned out all right. I'm doing fine. I'm going to end this video now. All I really have to say, be safe. I mean, right now it is September 8th, 2020, and it seems like this pandemic hasn't really stopped. Things have kind of gone kind of normal, but I don't really think it's gonna fully be normal for a long time, so who knows? We'll see what happens, but thank you for watching this video. I really hope that this video informed you about this virus that's going around, and I have other YouTube videos that I am in the process of editing right now, so be on the lookout for those as well. But like I said, thank you for watching, and I really hope you guys have a great day or night.